Good evening. This is Bronson's By Any Means Necessary Fantasy Football Talk for Friday, December 10th. I am exhausted. This last week has kicked my butt. I feel like I've aged 5 years. It's just been nonstop, just from 3 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., just nonstop, just manhandling me with work and getting to work or whatever. It's just, I'm not adjusting well to the schedule at all. I cannot wait for peak to be over. And man, it's just getting exacerbated these last couple of days by not having a car. So I'm getting home even later, getting even less free time. I mean, yesterday I walked over to my car to see if I could start it, and it sounded like it wanted to start, like it was trying really hard to start, but ultimately it wouldn't turn over. I tried 3 times. I was talking to my Uber driver on the way to work this morning, and he used to be a mechanic, he says, and he was telling me that I need to check my oil, my dipstick, for bubbles, see if it's bubbling, which that's not something I did. I checked the coolant reservoir to make sure that wasn't bubbling, because that's what Google told me to do, to check for a blown head gasket. And he's saying that I need to check the dipstick, the oil, to see if there's bubbles in the oil, to see if there's a blown head gasket. But I don't feel like walking over there tonight. I'm just beat. I'm probably gonna pass out. I tell myself I'm gonna take a nice little nap, a couple hours, and wake up again later, but that's probably not going to happen. I'm aware of this. I'm probably just gonna go to bed and sleep for 12 hours. I'm actually kind of looking forward to riding my bike to work tomorrow. I've been saying that I wanted to do that. I've been wanting to do that, and I just haven't done it because I don't have to. You know, it's nice to have the luxury of a car after not having a car for so long. I wanted to take every advantage I could to drive, but you know, weather permitting, the bicycle ride across the bridge from Vancouver to Portland to the airport is actually a really nice ride, and so I'm not going to hate it. I'm not going to ride back. My dad does want to come pick up my car and tow it and give it a look, give it a gander tomorrow at some point. I don't know when he's going to be able to do that, because I'm going to be working all day. Again, it's going to be from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And UPS actually wants us to start an hour earlier tomorrow. So instead of going in at 6, they want us there at 5. I don't even get off work at my other job until 4:30. So I'm going to have to immediately get off and race over to UPS on my bicycle to be there on time at 5. And I think I'm just gonna call in, because I don't want to deal with that stress, 1. And 2, I was already thinking about calling in before they told us they wanted us to come in at 5 this morning. When they told us that this morning, I mean, because I want to be there. I want to be able to, you know, my dad's gonna need directions to where my car is. He's gonna need my keys, all that stuff, you know. So it'd be nice to be there to help him, you know, with that. And otherwise, I'm not gonna be able to do that at any point tomorrow. So I just want to get my car back. It's, you know, there was things I wanted to do this Sunday and Monday on days off. You know, I'm not going to do that now, because it's going to cost me, take me hours on a bus ride, train ride, and stuff like that. You know, I'm not interested. That's why I never went exploring Portland before. You know, because it's just, I don't want to waste my whole day in public transit. You know, so well, yeah. So that's the situation we're in now, or I'm in now, I should say. What else? Was there anything else I was going to talk about? Oh yeah, one of my coworkers brought up my videos, my stuff today, and like it kind of made me cringe. It's like I've just never been comfortable talking about my art. You know, I never been comfortable, like reading things I write out loud. Like I'm really confident in my writing. I know I can write. I know I'm good at it. It's one of the few things in my life that I'm genuinely confident about, not fake confident about. I'm not. I don't like public speaking for one. I always hated speech classes. I failed classes in high school because I wouldn't give speeches. Yeah, public speaking is definitely a big time fear of mine. Standing in front of a room and having everybody just staring at you. Man, so it's so intimidating. Like, even though you are, like, you're higher than them, right? Because you're standing or you're up on a podium or something and everybody's staring at you. Like, you think that they would be intimidated and you would feel the power, like feel in control, but that's totally the opposite. I prefer, like, it's just always been more comfortable for me to just sit. Like if everybody's sitting, right, like a round table or even just a classroom or a room, everybody's just sitting and I'm sitting and I'm talking. It's like totally different. I can do that. I can kind of like blank out the fact that everybody else is, sitting there probably staring at me or, listening intently to me. It's just different when you're up on a podium or standing and you're just staring at this crowd of people who are just staring at you. It's awful. And I've never been comfortable reading my own writing after I write it, like out loud. I always read it because you gotta proofread, spell check. Even though I've always been a fantastic speller, that's never been an issue. A natural gift for words, I would say. I was always in the I won a spelling contest in like 5th grade, I think, and then I was in the 90th upper percentile of vocabulary. I remember taking that test in college. My vocabulary was, in the upper 10%. So words are kind of my thing, I guess. And I miss writing. I do miss writing, but I lack inspiration for writing, for creative writing. And, I can't really do the journalism that I used to do because my reputation is kind of ruined from a false accusation from a long time ago. But, that's for another day. And, but yeah, so she was asking me about it. She was asking me, like, because she's a subscriber, which I'm really grateful for. She's one of the few. I don't know if she watches all my stuff, but like she was asking me about it. She was asking me what I do in the football off season. I was like, I talk basketball, I talk baseball. I'll continue to do the travel stuff. There's always some kind of sport going on here. So it was just, I know she meant well, and I appreciate her, taking an interest in that part of my life. But it's just like it was just cringy. It was just uncomfortable for me, and it's no fault of her. It's just the awkwardness that is me. So, but okay, yeah. So this will be the spikes and yikes for the quarterbacks and tight ends for the week. I do have 7 quarterbacks and 6 tight ends. Tight end is really hard to kind of evaluate this year. I'm having trouble with it weekly because everybody's just so bad. There's like 4 good ones. There's like 4 really good ones, and then there's like a few good ones, and then there's just a bunch of crap. So it's like, whatever. The rankings just so volatile. But we'll do the quarterbacks first. The quarterback yikes. Starting with Josh Allen, who's the number 1 quarterback for the week, projected number 1 quarterback for the week. It's not that I don't like Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen a lot. I got a lot of shares of Josh Allen. I was really high on Josh Allen coming into the year. He's having a pretty good year, top 3 overall. But I mean, the Bills are just kind of weird this year, right? They were supposed to be like the class of the AFC, and they've kind of just looked flat in quite a few games. They haven't really been wowing anybody offensively. I think they're a really complete team. They got great defense, great offense. 5 very good weapons in pass catching. They got 3 useful running backs. Like, there's no flaws on the Bills team, really. They even have good coaching. It's just something's off. Something's off there. I don't know what it is. Josh Allen's still having a great year. Like I said, I don't mean to repeat myself, but I just don't see him having number 1 week this week against Tampa Bay. Top 5 is probably pretty safe, but number 1, I don't know. I think that's a little high. Cam Newton at 13 versus the Falcons. On paper, this is a good matchup for Cam Newton, and he might want to, perform better to, alleviate some concerns because he had a really bad week in the game before their bye. So 2 weeks ago, and his offensive coordinator's fired. His coach is on the hot seat. Cam Newton's got a lot to prove, and he's got a lot of pride. But he just, when he's on, when he is motivated, he's very good. But it seems to have been a while since he's been motivated, and so maybe the poor performance will motivate him, and the bad defense he's playing against will help him perform well. But he's at 13 for the week. He's outside my top 15. And lastly, Teddy Bridgewater of the Broncos, 18 versus Lions. I know that's pretty low, but I think this is going to be a very run-heavy week for the Broncos, and against a very outmanned Lions team. I know the Lions just beat my Vikings, and they played Pittsburgh well. So the Lions are playing better right now. They're playing okay, but they're going to be DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams will be out. Those are the 2 best offensive weapons. Oh, and T.J. Hockenson is also doubtful. Not ruled out yet, but he's doubtful. He's going to be out. So they're already bad offense. An offense already had not a lot of skill, not a lot of talent. Now has no talent whatsoever. So Denver, I think, is their coach is old. The coach is a defensive guy. He's like a Mike Zimmer, only he's not even as good as Mike Zimmer. So he's gonna be hella conservative this week, I think, and run the shit out of the ball. And so Teddy Bridgewater, I wouldn't be surprised if Teddy Bridgewater throws less than 20 passes in this game. So I wouldn't have him in my top 20. He's not a starter in a 2 QB or super flex league for me this week. Now for the 4 that I'm spiking, Taysom Hill at 6. I love Taysom Hill this week. I love me some Taysom Hill, just in general. He got 20 points last week with 4 interceptions. If that's his floor, man, imagine his ceiling. And against the Jets, awful defense. With Alvin Kamara back, I think that Alvin Kamara, a lot of people are worried that Alvin Kamara is going to, hurt Taysom Hill. But if you look at the evidence of Taysom Hill's tired before he hurt the Saints, Taysom Hill has been vulturing goal line touches from Alvin Kamara forever. And that's not going to change. So it's not going to affect Alvin Kamara being back. Is not going to affect Taysom Hill at all. It actually might help him be even better throwing the ball because he has that threat of Kamara to alleviate, some of the. I don't know the word I'm thinking of. I think he's going to help Taysom Hill out and hurt Kamara more than Skyler Hill. I love Taysom Hill this week, top 5 play for me. Russell Wilson at 11. He looked really good last week. I think his accuracy, he's one of the most accurate guys I've ever seen. His touch passes are a thing of beauty. Like, I've never seen a quarterback who is just so perfect with those just touch, finger flicking passes. Russell Wilson, when he's on, is really great to watch. I wish he didn't play for Seattle. I would root for him a lot harder. He played for a different team, but I like him as a top 10 play this week against the terrible, already eliminated from playoff contention, Houston Texans. Jimmy Garoppolo way down at 17. I don't know what all the disrespect is with Garoppolo. He's really been outperforming his projections for weeks now, pretty much all season. And Deebo Samuel is looking like he will be back, so that's only going to help Garoppolo. And lastly, Ryan. Oh, I should have had him in front. Ryan Tannehill, 16. Julio Jones is due back. they're coming off a bye, so maybe they found some work due to the offensive kinks that they're having. And plus, it's Jacksonville. Jacksonville's awful. In all aspects, Jacksonville's awful. Even coaching is awful, which is hard for me to say because I've always been an Urban Meyer fan, except when he was at Ohio State. But I liked him at Utah. I liked him at Florida. I really thought he should have went to the NFL a long time ago, but he's here now, and he is failing miserably. And it's sad to see, but Tannehill should have a great day against the Jaguars. I know Tannehill's having a bit of a down year this year, but I think this will be the week where he performs kind of to the hopes that we all had when we drafted him. Now moving on to the tight ends. Tight end, yikes. Before I get to it, I want to mention that I already mentioned that TJ Hawkinson is doubtful, so you might if he's your only tight end, you might want to make other arrangements. And Darren Waller has been ruled out again this Sunday, so it's going to be another Foster Moreau week. So the tight ends that I am yiking, Tyler Higbee at 8 against the Cardinals. Tyler Higbee just isn't really involved enough in the Rams offense to think that he's going to be a top 10 tight end, even in a down year for tight ends, even in a week where Dallas Goedert, Mike Gesicki, Hunter Henry, there's another team on, like Colts, Jack Doyle, even with a week where those guys are on bye, Tyler Higbee's not a top 10 play. For me, next, Noah Fant at 9. Again, I'm a really big believer in Noah Fant as an athlete, and Noah Fant as a dynasty tight end prospect. But in redraft this year, Noah Fant's been pretty useless, and that's going to continue this week because, as I said, now Teddy Bridgewater, I don't think the Broncos are going to be passing the ball much at all. So I don't like any Denver pass catchers this week. Just foreshadowing of the wide receiver video that is to come sometime tomorrow, hopefully, or early Sunday morning before the games start, which is probably going to be my new theme here for the rest of the season. Because I'm probably going to do that on Sunday morning because Saturday I'm just too damn busy, and I'm only getting to tight ends and quarterbacks today on Friday. So lastly, tight ends, Gerald Everett, 15 of the Seahawks at Texans. Gerald Everett is just useless, honestly. He's got a couple touchdowns this year, but you never know when they're going to happen, and I don't foresee they're not likely to happen. Again, you never know when they're going to happen. So it's just easier to avoid him. Russell Wilson doesn't seem to be a big fan of him. Now for the tight ends that I'm spiking, I'm at 18 minutes. I'm making a decent time. I might get under 20 minutes here. So tight ends, some good news about tight ends. Dallas Goedert had an amazing week. See what Dallas Goedert can do when he has a quarterback who, and I'm not trying to diss on Jalen Hurts. I like Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts is kind of like the quarterback that I would be like. He just gets too antsy in the pocket, and just he takes off running before he makes all his progressions and reads. And so Dallas Goedert was not effective with Jalen Hurts under center, but he is on a bye this week. But it was nice to see what he can do with the quarterback who isn't so confident in his running skills that he's looking to pass the ball more often than Jalen Hurts. Tight ends I'm spiking real quickly here. Cole Kmet at 12. Bears against the Packers. I'm liking Cole Kmet as a top 10 tight end this week, so 12 seems a little low to me. Ricky Seals-Jones of the Washington football team versus the Cowboys. Now, see, I'm always dogging Logan Thomas, and he's now out for the year, and probably into next year with that ACL blown out knee. But I've been high on Ricky Seals-Jones because Ricky Seals-Jones, in limited work throughout his career, has always been a touchdown machine. And with tight ends can usually be more valuable with the guys that just get like one catch and one touchdown a week, rather than a guy like Logan Thomas who gets like 6-7 catches a week for 50, 60 yards. Like the touchdown, the one catch and touchdown, so that's going to be the same amount of points as that guy who, gets 90% of the work. So it's like, I don't know. Logan Thomas just feels like empty calories, while Ricky Seals-Jones feels like, a shot of espresso. So I like Ricky Seals-Jones this week against the Cowboys. Washington is going to have to. That game has a large potential to be a shootout. So I think Ricky Seals-Jones is going to be heavily involved in the red zone. And lastly, Brock Wright of the Lions. He is not ranked this week, but with DJ Hawkinson out and with the Lions having no reliable pass catchers, some could argue that Amon-Ra St. Brown and Josh Reynolds are decent, but I wouldn't call them reliable yet. They've only had like a couple of games where they've been relevant. They're both still young. I would argue that they're not reliable, but Brock Wright, seeing how heavily involved TJ Hawkinson has been in that offense, Brock Wright could easily have a top 20, even top 15 week at the tight end position this week. So having him not ranked seems low to me. But again, nobody's ever heard of this guy. He's an undrafted free agent who just got elevated from the practice squad last week, I think, or very recently. Nobody knows who this guy is. So I understand why he's not ranked, but just given the opportunity that he has this week, I think he should be higher. So he's in my top 20. So if you're looking for a tight end to stream this week, Brock Wright is definitely the name that should be at the top of your list. So, all right, we're gonna end this. Did not keep it under 20 minutes. Didn't even keep it under 22 minutes. Oh well, whatever. Those of you who watch probably come to expect this. I apologize. But peace, love, and nacho fries, and hang loose.